Well, hello guys, it is that time once again for another edition of Odds and where I read you some really weird news stories from all over the world, and hey, they don't call it odds and ends for a reason, you know? Now, again, it's been late because of work. And I just lost the page, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm looking for it. Found it. Now, if you guys haven't noticed by now, there's a really huge difference between what I was doing before and what I'm doing now. That's because I don't know if the vlog or no, the vlog will come up after this though. But the reason being is because I bought a tripod. So yeah, now my odds and ends thing is going to be a lot more clear and a lot more better than last time though. But I'm hoping though, but I don't know if you guys prefer the tripod or prefer the way I was doing it before though, but this is the first time I'm going to use a tripod. But after I finish this, let me know what you guys think about it in the treasure box down below, and then I'll decide, and then you know what a vast majority of you think, then I'll decide what to do, if either I should stay with a tripod or if I'm going to go back to the way I was though. But so, yeah, so let me sum up what's been going on in a nutshell. Busy with work, thought I had the source, may have lost it, may have misplaced it, something like that. I don't know, but I have it right here, so without further delay, let's begin. Our first story comes out of New Mexico. Huh, this is weird. First time I've actually heard this, because this is where I get my source for odds and ends. So, yeah, it's actually weird hearing a story about from this state. So, let's begin. So, New Mexico. With the resignation of a police chief on Wednesday, September 26th, the eastern New Mexico town of Vaughn has been left with just one certified member on its police force, a drug-sniffing dog named Nika. Chief Ernest Chris, quote-unquote, Armijo, stepped down after news reports surfaced pointing out that he is unable to carry a firearm thanks to his criminal background. State officials ruled that Armijo is decertified as an officer of the law since admitting that he owes tens of thousands of dollars in delinquent child support payments in Texas. Also, the lawman is facing felony charges following accusations of selling a town-owned rifle and keeping the cash for himself. Normally, this would leave Vaughn's other police officer in charge. Unfortunately, he pleaded guilty to charges of assault and battery last year. Since, like Armijo, that officer is also non-certified, he can't carry guns or make arrests either. Dave Romero, attorney for the town of 450 people, tried to put a positive spin on things. Quote, England doesn't allow police officers to carry guns, he told reporters. Quote, sometimes the strongest weapon in law enforcement is communication. At the moment, records indicate the only certified police officer in the town is Nika, whose communication skills are somewhat lacking. Also, since she is under the care of Armijo, it is unclear if she'll be able to continue her duties. Romero said town officials are considering whether to hire another police chief. Wow, so it's just one bad thing after another for the state. So it's like, okay, the police chief stepped down because he has delinquent child support payments in the state of Texas for tens of thousands of dollars, and admitting or he can't carry a firearm thanks to his criminal background, and same to the one who's behind him, so that leaves you to a dog. Basically, you're being outvoted and outperformed by a dog who is willing to take over. Doesn't that seem a little odd, but then again, it'd be also kind of unique at the same time? Because it's not very often you hear reports of a dog taking over the city and being the state police chief of the city. So, a little iffy on that one though, but who knows, we'll just wait and see. But moving on, our next story comes from Idaho. Idaho? No, Idaho. Not Idaho, Idaho. Sorry, it's a little joke I make. No offense to anybody who's from Ohio or Idaho, anything like that. Why did I say Ohio? Idaho. But yeah, it's just a little joke, nothing offensive. Yeah. So, Idaho. The bad news is Colbert, Washington resident Hans Glassy lost 4 fingers in a wakeboarding accident on Idaho's Priest Lake. The good news is one of his digits has been located inside a fish. According to the Spokesman Review newspaper, fisherman Nolan Calvin got the finger while cleaning the trout he caught on September 11th. He put it on ice and called Bonner County Sheriff's Office. Detectives were able to get a fingerprint off the severed digit and tracked it back to Hans Glassy, 31, who lost 4 fingers from his left hand in a June 21st boating accident. Quote, "The sheriff called me and told me he had a strange story to tell me," Glassy told the newspaper. Quote, "He said that a fisherman was out on Priest Lake, and I pretty much knew exactly what he was going to say at that point. I was like, let me guess. They found my fingers in a fish." The sheriff's office reported the trout was caught some 8 miles from the spot Glassy lost his fingers. Glassy has been on a camping trip at the lake when he decided to go wakeboarding. He told the newspaper his fingers got tangled in the tow line and couldn't pull them out. A boat conveniently pulled them out for him. Glassy was rushed by helicopter to the nearest hospital. The sheriff's office did offer to return the finger. Given the nearly 3-month gap, reattaching the finger seemed rather unlikely. Quote, I'm good," said Glassy. Detective Sergeant Gary Johnson of the Sheriff's Office said the agency will keep the finger for a few weeks in case Glassy changes his mind. Okay, dude, let's think about this. 5 fingers. 4 of them go missing. You probably just have this, or this, or this. It looks awkward. Or this, or this. Or no, you have 4 fingers missing, so it's either this, or this, or this, or this, or this. So let's see. If you got one of your fingers back, if I were you, I would have reattached it. But like he said, between that 3-month gap between the accident and the fact that somebody found it, I would see if it would be possible to see if it can be reattached. Excuse me, if it can be reattached. But if it can't, then I don't know what to do with the finger. Probably put it in a glass jar or something like that. I don't know. And then tell your friends it's like a beer story. How did this happen? I lost my finger when I was wakeboarding, and the boat cut my fingers off. Oh, that'd be a great story around the campfire. Anyways, moving on. Our next story comes out of Florida, where police in Miami Beach allege a homeless man broke into a car in a parking garage and stole someone else's credit card. The suspect then walked into the Clevelander bar just before midnight on Monday, September 24th, and tried to purchase beer. Unfortunately to the identity thief, the car, and therefore the credit card, belonged to the bartender. The shocked bartender called police, who have charged 53-year-old David Weber with credit card fraud and theft. Weber told police he found the card lying on the ground. He was booked into Miami-Dade County Jail the next morning. Dude, if you say you found it lying on the ground and you're homeless, obviously that's not going to fly with police. You should have turned it in and said, hey, I found this card, and is there some kind of reward, instead of just, break a window, steal a card, and go buy beer. Because that's what you think you're going to get away with, but obviously not, because you don't think that, and people are stupid, and hence you end up on stuff like this. Way to go, dude. Way to freaking go. And lastly, our final story comes out of Arizona. An amateur video maker wondered what would happen if he dressed his 16-year-old nephew up as a, quote, terrorist, and had him wander around a Phoenix intersection with a fake grenade launcher. Surprisingly, to virtually no one, 39-year-old Michael David Turley was arrested and charged with knowingly giving a false impression of a terrorist act, endangerment, contributing to the delinquency, God, that's a mouthful, of a minor, and misconduct involving a simulated explosive. Turley posted his video to YouTube claiming it was a response to the Dark Knight Rises shootings in Aurora, Colorado. The video shows Turley's teenage nephew walking around dressed in a blue bedsheet and black face covering while carrying a realistic-looking RPG launcher. Quote, "I wanted to find out how safe I really am," Turley says in the video's narration. Quote, "I want to know the response time of the Phoenix Police Department." According to the video, it took police 15 minutes to respond. Airily named police spokesperson Officer James Holmes told reporters that the first cop arrived on the scene 3 minutes after the initial 911 call. The officer claimed confronted the teen and the cameraman. Turley told the officer they were filming a movie. The officer took down their names and left. After interviewing witnesses and 911 callers and later seeing the YouTube video, police arrested Turley. If convicted, he faces up to 45 months in prison. Okay, dude, so let's break this down, shall we? You dress up your 16-year-old nephew as a terrorist, and you give him a realistic-looking RPG launcher. And you say it's a response to the Dark Knight shootings in Aurora, Colorado. Of course, we all know what happened there, because the guy who did the shooting painted his hair red and claimed to be, quote, the Joker. Of course, I'm probably sure he has mental problems, but you just wanted to do this just to see how fast the police are in Phoenix. So let's break this down. Terrorists in public versus a terrorist in a movie theater. There's a huge difference between that. Terrorists in the street could target anything and anyone could be in danger. The Dark Knight shootings in Aurora, Colorado, that was targeted towards the Dark Knight Rises movie, and it was in a movie theater. Why he did it, I don't know. Maybe he snapped. Maybe he got picked on. I don't know. Maybe it was the equivalency of the Columbine shootings. You guys remember the Columbine shootings? Yeah. Those guys were in the back, they got picked on, and you know what they did? They finally snapped and they shot everybody in the school. Maybe that's what happened to the guy in Colorado. But this guy, I don't know how to explain this guy and how stupidly ridiculous this is, but he should have done something better than just to do something stupid like that. But anyways, guys, that is it for this edition of Odds and Ends, and I really hope you guys enjoyed listening to those stories as much as I like reading them to you. And we will see you sometime soon. Probably a vlog will be up by then, and another edition of Odds and Ends will be there by soon, and by then I'll be the man on the job, giving you the source and giving you what's good word in the world of crazy news. And until so anyways, guys, take it easy, and until next time, we'll see you guys later.